Hello everybody, my name is 711 and welcome to week 5 of the Pokemon Battle Association Season 9. This week, for the 5th week, we're battling the one and only Ryo, my buddy from Pittsburgh. We're both from the Pittsburgh area, and so this is going to be an awesome, hardcore Pittsburgh showdown, the Steel City of Champions, and so, of course, he has the Zapdos, which is obviously great for, Pittsburgh. We got Quagsire, which I brought a lot of setup mons, and Quagsire is going to be a little bit annoying, but I have some answers for that. He has Mega Lopunny, he has the Slurpuff, which are both very, very fast in their own rights. We have Umbreon, which is pretty dangerous. And then there is, of course, Latias. So, this is the first time that I'm bringing Hawlucha, and I'm pretty excited with Tapu Koko. So, let's get into this battle here. So, he leads with the Slurpuff, as I lead with Steven. And so, of course, that's going to be a switch, and that's free Toxic for me, rather. And I do get to set my Stealth Rocks. I'm telling you what, carrying Toxic on a Metagross is so much fun because he predicted me to switch, but that does not happen. Anyway, what you can't Toxic, I can Earthquake, and so that's just a lot of fun for me. It works. So I bring in Eco Revenge here, figuring he's not going to click Toxic twice, which is fine. And basically what I'm doing now is I'm going to go for Substitute, and this is ultimately going to cripple this Umbreon pretty substantially because of the toxic damage. So I get a free Dragon Dance up, which is nice. And so, of course, Foul Play does hit. Of course it hits. Of course it breaks the sub. It was going to break the sub before the Dragon Dance. And one more Substitute, and that's going to bring Umbreon down even lower. It's doing more damage to Umbreon than to me. And so I click 1,000 Arrows and I get the first kill of the game. So that's pretty exciting. And then he goes into Quagsire, which I know I can't touch. So I decide to save Zygarde. I go into Steven because Steven does have Toxic. And he has no Steel type, he has no Poison type. I am free to click Toxic on anything. And okay, he stays into Quagsire and he clicks Earthquake. And that doesn't even do half, so things are looking pretty good for me right now. And so I switch into Michael here, and he actually goes for Toxic, just like that, predicting, that I want to take an Earthquake with Hurricane Michael. I go in, and now he has the Stolen Mascot, as you can see. Hurricane does a lot of damage, and at this point, I'm thinking hard about clicking Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam does a ton to anything, of course. Hyper Beam is going to knock out Zapdos. Zapdos is pretty scary to my team, and I'm strongly considering Hyper Beam. And really the only thing that's keeping me back is, what about Slurpuff? Do I have answers for Slurpuff? And it turns out I do. I calculated that Metagross lives a Drain Punch, a +6 Drain Punch. I have Hawlucha in the back. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. So I click Hyper Beam. And of course that does not miss. And down goes that. So, of course, Ryo makes he does not waste any time going into Slurpuff, as I need to recharge. There's the Belly Drum, and he's not quite back up to 75% because of the rocks, and so I decide to sack off Mega Pidgeot here. There's the Drain Punch. First I go into Steven the Metagross, because Metagross doesn't do a whole lot to the rest of his team, and so here's the Drain Punch. I live it pretty well, and I go for Iron Head here. And I don't remember my whole set. I'm pretty shocked the Slurpuff lived, and I don't have Bullet Punch, unfortunately. I don't know why. but I didn't carry Bullet Punch. So Slurpuff is fairly low here, and then here I make a mistake. I make a bit of a mistake. Blackhawk does have some usefulness to the rest of this team. He does have Dazzling Gleam for, you know, he has a bit of a fairy weakness. He has a fighting. He brought a fighting type, a dragon type, and a dark type. None of them want to take a Dazzling Gleam or even a Z Dazzling Gleam. Twinkle Tackle, I think it's called. But anyway, I actually sacked Blackhawk here because all that I really needed him for, I thought, was Electric Terrain. And where it would have been the opportune moment to let Zygarde go down. It really would have been the best time to let Zygarde go down. So here is Carlos, +1 defense. I'm still not living a play rough, so I go straight for the acrobatics. And here is Quagsire. Now, I decide to go for acrobatics here. Does some solid damage, and here's an Ice Punch. Doesn't do a whole ton. And I think I click Drain Punch here. Here's whenever I click Bulk Up for whatever reason. So, at this stage of the game, it's a little bit of a stall here because Quagsire has Recover, and I want Quagsire to be down fairly low. I do want Quagsire to be pretty low whenever Carlos goes down, and the reason for that is because I can actually set up a Quiver Dance with the Bombi on the Quagsire. I don't care if I get Toxicked, I can set up a Quiver Dance and Ribombi's Moonblast should be able to finish the game. I have Energy Ball for the Quagsire just in case, but that's my plan going into this here. And so at this point, lots of damage is being done on both sides. Here's an Acrobatics. Quagsire is above 50% and then goes down to 25%. Ouch. So here's Ribombi here. I get to set up a Quiver Dance, and so far my plan has worked out pretty well. I wanted Quagsire weak, and you know, going for that was actually pretty good. And so here is where things get really interesting, is because I calced and this kills. Ryo actually has max HP, max special attack with Shattered Psyche, Z Psychic, and I think if I remember correctly from the calcs, that Z Psychic kills Ribombi at this part. And actually, Moonblast at +1 does not kill Latias. So of course I don't know any of this during the battle, but I decided to click Moonblast, and Ryo's sitting pretty comfortable because Moonblast does not kill max HP Latias. And then Z Psychic, modest, it does kill, even at +1, the Ribombi. So I click Moonblast here, and I crit him. And so he was a little he was just a pinch salty, but you know, of course I didn't realize this at the time. I thought it was an overkill, and all he has left is Mega Lopunny, and he actually doesn't Mega Evolve, and I crit that. Of course, you have to Mega Evolve, and so he pretty much conceded the battle at that moment in time. Turns out that a Moonblast is needed to crit a regular Lopunny, so that's kind of interesting. I did not need that I did not need a crit to knock out a regular, or sorry, a Mega Lopunny. That's what I'm trying to say. So Moonblast, two back-to-back crit Moonblasts did finish up the game. There was a little bit of hacks. I felt like my plan was pretty solid. Like I said, there was a misplay in sacking the Tapu Koko. It would have been the opportune moment to sack the Zygarde, and so that's actually how the battle ended up. So thank you guys so much for watching. As it turns out, I am the the guy who wins the showdown for Pittsburgh this time. But good game to Ryo. You played pretty well, and I look forward to our next battle. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then like this video, comment on this video, share it with your friends, and click subscribe if you haven't already. And on that note, guys, I will see you all later. Peace.